Imagine you're about to build something, a road, a new facility, maybe a whole operation. But here's the catch. Underneath the soil, a dangerous history is just lying in wait. You see, this isn't just about construction. It's about imposing order on a hidden, chaotic world. And today, we're going to break down the blueprint for how exactly you do that. So let's just jump right in. For a company like Panaust, this isn't some what-if scenario. It's a very real, very present risk they have to deal with in certain parts of the world. So how in the world do you take a place with a violent past and turn it into a safe, productive work site for the future? All right, here's our game plan. We'll start by figuring out what this hidden threat really is. Then we'll cover the single most important rule for literally everyone on site. After that, we'll dive into the system for safety, see how it actually works on the ground, cover the official handover, and wrap up with why this whole thing matters so much. Okay, first things first, we have to get a really clear picture of what we're actually dealing with here. This is all about identifying an invisible danger before it announces itself in the worst possible way. Now, the key thing to understand about this definition, Unexploded Ordinance, or UXO, is that this is stuff that was supposed to go off, but didn't. It failed. And that failure is exactly what makes it so incredibly dangerous and unstable. It's like a weapon frozen in time, just waiting for the wrong trigger. This right here, this is the core problem that the entire safety system is built to solve. So when you're facing a threat that deadly, how do you keep hundreds of people safe? Well, it all starts with one single, non-negotiable commandment. And for most people, this is actually the only thing they really need to know. This sentence, this is the heart of the entire safety protocol. No exceptions, no but what ifs. Think of it like a giant firewall. It creates this bright, uncrossable line between the highly trained experts and, well, everybody else. This has nothing to do with being brave. It's all about a disciplined procedure that keeps people alive. You see something, you don't go investigate. You report it. That's it. End of story. Okay, but for a rule that simple to actually work, it has to be backed up by something much, much bigger, right? You can't just hope for the best. Managing this kind of risk is never about guesswork or luck. It's all about having a robust, repeatable, and fully documented process. And that whole complex process, it really boils down to these three phases. First, risk assessment. That's mapping the danger, figuring out where it is, what it is, and how bad it could be. Second, clearance. This is when the experts go in to systematically find, mark, and get rid of the threat. And finally, the formal handover. This is where you prove, on paper, that the area is officially safe. Find it, remove it, certify it. Simple as that. And this chart makes the division of labor crystal clear. On the left, you've got Panaust personnel. Their main job? Follow the rules. Their responsibility is to avoid the danger. But on the right, you have the accredited UXO specialists. Their job is the exact opposite, to confront the danger. They're the only ones who can survey, clear, and dispose. This separation is absolutely fundamental to making the whole system work. Okay, so we've got the blueprint. Now let's see what happens when the theory meets the dirt. This is the action sequence, the actual practical steps that get taken out in the field. You can think of this as a defense with multiple layers. Demarcation means you've got physical barriers and big, clear warning signs. Access control means everybody sticks to pre-approved searched paths, no just wandering off. Pathfinding teams are the ones who actually create these safe corridors. And when UXO is found, boom, it's destroyed right there on site. Every single layer is designed to reduce risk and maximize control. Now, when it's time for disposal, safety gets measured in meters. And the first number to lock in your head is 250. That's the minimum distance all the heavy equipment has to be from the blast site. That's to protect the machinery. But for people, the distance doubles, 500 meters. I mean, to put that in perspective, that is the length of 5 football fields. It's this massive life-saving bubble created around the disposal, a really powerful visual that shows you just how much more valuable a human life is than any piece of equipment. So after the physical danger has been dealt with, there's one final absolutely crucial step. Because, the work isn't done until the paperwork is done. This is the official process of turning a danger zone into a certified work zone. What makes the whole system so incredibly solid is the thoroughness of this clearance certificate. It's not a suggestion, it's a strict checklist. Is the UXO gone? Check. Has quality control signed off on it? Check. Are there physical markers, GPS coordinates, and a clearly marked way in? Check, check, check. See, this isn't a handshake deal. It's a documented, verifiable transfer of responsibility that makes safety official. And here's a really key takeaway. Cleared doesn't necessarily mean cleared forever. The system is smart enough to account for nature. A huge landslide or crazy heavy rainfall could shift the ground and recontaminate an area that was perfectly safe before. So a register tracks every single site, making sure that if conditions change, that area gets looked at again. Safety is never a one-and-done job. All right, let's zoom out for a second. We've gone through the details, the rules, the procedures. But what's the bigger picture here? Why does a system like this really, truly matter? What I love about this timeline is that it shows the safety standard wasn't just invented one day and then left alone. It has a history. It started back in 2014, it's been updated, technically edited, and just recently it went from being a local site rule to a global standard for the whole group. It's a living document that's been constantly refined for over a decade. Real safety systems have to evolve. When you really think about it, the story we've been exploring here, the hero isn't a person. The hero is the system itself. It's the structured, documented, and constantly reviewed approach that manages to tame an invisible and truly extreme risk. It's what allows progress to happen safely, even on land that was once a battlefield. And that really leaves us with a bigger question to chew on, doesn't it? The challenge Panaust deals with on its work sites is really a smaller version of a problem we all face, whether it's environmental cleanup or social issues. How do we build a better future on ground that still holds the dangers of the past? Well, it seems the answer isn't to ignore that past, but to face it head on with a deliberate, intelligent, and unwavering system.